And now to that breaking news from NFL quarterback Tom Brady. After days of speculation, Brady is now officially announcing he is retiring from football after 22 seasons. Brady made that announcement in a post on social media, writing, "I have loved my NFL career, and now it is time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention." And let's talk a little bit more about this with ABC News contributor LZ Granderson. LZ, thanks so much for coming on. Why do you think he chose to post this now? I mean, the past few days have just been full of speculation. Even his dad came out against the rumors, and now here's Brady saying, you know what? I am retiring.
You know, that's a fantastic question, and I'm sure at some point he's going to relay the answer as to the timing of it all. I would hate to think, and I know this is the antithesis of the industry that I'm in and that you're in, Diane, but I would hate to think the breaking news of him retiring days ago forced him to come out with a statement now before he was ready to. And the only reason why I would hate to think that is because if he wanted more time to contemplate and there was an opportunity through that deliberation to have yet one more season of Tom Brady, it looks like we've lost that opportunity. So that's the only reason why I'm saying that. But, you know, it's a beautiful post. We all know about his 22-year career, the two teams, the championships. The thing that I respect most about Tom Brady is that he's not leaving because he can't play. He's leaving because he wants to do something else. And that is a tremendous way for any athlete to leave, but definitely one who's in a conversation of being the greatest of all time.
And, you know, Robert Kraft just put out a statement on this, singing his praise for Tom Brady and saying, among other things, "I have the greatest respect for Tom personally and always will. His humility coupled with his drive and ambition truly made him special. I will always feel a close bond to him and will always consider him an extension of my immediate family." It's interesting, though, LZ, Brady didn't mention the Patriots in his post. Did that surprise you?
Not really. You know, this is about Tom Brady. And while it is true that Tom was a Patriot for much of his career and most of his success came as a Patriot, the reality is that his move to Tampa Bay was about separating his own legacy from the Patriot way and in some ways separating himself from being seen as a Bill Belichick prodigy. And Bill Belichick is considered the greatest coach of all time. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that as he's discussing his own journey, he's staying focused in as much as possible as where he is right now and not where he once was. I don't think that's a slight necessarily. Perhaps we'll see it under more reporting as the days go by. But my initial response to that was he wants to talk about himself and where he is right now in life and not what he's accomplished and think about the past.
But he did spend a lot of time talking to the Buccaneers and not anything there mentioning the Patriots. So I expect we're going to hear a little bit more about that conversation, as you said, as the day goes on.
I think so.
So what do you think? You're understandably saying this is about Tom and what he's done and what's next for Tom Brady. So what do you think is next for Tom Brady, and what happens now with the Buccaneers?
You know, those are two fascinating questions. You know, Tom Brady has spent most of the past two seasons not just trying to make the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a Super Bowl champion and thus separating his legacy from that of the franchise that drafted him, you know, 199, but he's also spent 2 years in a lot of ways sort of reintroducing himself to the public as a person. You know, remember, outside of the controversies, the various gates, whether it's Deflate Gate, Spy Gate, you know, Strawberry Gate, all the gates that he's had, as well as obviously the MAGA hat and him being able to kind of avoid talking about why that MAGA hat was in his locker, particularly around the time of, you know, as we're looking at the insurrection and his connection to President Trump, he was able to duck all of those conversations and questions. But he has spent 2 years talking about The Man in the Arena, which is a show that he's streaming. He's been a lot more open in terms of where he is via his podcast. And I think what was really telling was that he was willing to acknowledge the position he was in as it pertained to President Trump and the MAGA movement with his joking with President Biden when he visited the White House. Making the sort of the reference about a questioned result and, you know, whether or not there would be a recount. That was Tom Brady's attempt to try to distance himself from the MAGA controversy and also introduce himself as a personality. And so I don't see him coaching. I don't see him being some sort of court consultant for a GM position or a quarterback's coach, but I do see him being more involved in media. We know that Peyton Manning and his brother Eli Manning has made a successful transition over. Those were contemporaries of his, as well as Drew Brees has made that transition over into the media side. So I would not be surprised at all if you see Tom get more involved with media, either as a commentary or as someone who is sort of occupying his own space like Peyton is.
So LZ, 7 Lombardi trophies, 5 Super Bowl MVPs. Does Brady leave as the greatest of all time?
I think it all depends upon what your definition of GOAT is. Now, I'm under the belief that Aaron Rodgers is physically the most talented player to play the position. I'm under the belief that Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick are 2 of the most dynamic and exciting guys to ever play the position. But no one has come close to winning at the clip of Tom Brady. And so if your definition of greatest of all time is about wins and losses, then absolutely, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time and one of the greatest athletes of all time. And he, in my opinion, is the greatest team sport underdog story of all time. Venus and Serena Williams are still the overall underdog story, success story, but Tom Brady is right there and is #1 when it comes to team success underdog stories for sure.
All right, LZ Granderson, always great to have you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Diane.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.